sign in to your page. You will first put in your email address that is used for this account. Mine is different, obviously, but you put your email address in and then you put your password in and hit login. This now takes you to the dashboard of your website, kind of like the back side of it. For this purpose of the tutorial, I'm going to show you how to add things to your calendar. So we're going to go over here to the left-hand side and we're going to add events. But first we'll just look at the events. This shows you the events that I have preloaded into the site already. And we'll give you some idea of how things look. If you forget how to do something, the easiest way to figure it out is to go back into one of these and look how it was set up. You'll see on here that the only coding that you'll ever have to do is putting in breaks, and that's what this BR inside of these brackets are. This tells the computer to add, like when you hit the enter button and it shifts down one line on a sentence, the calendar, if we'll look at your calendar over here as an example, this is just the calendar your pastor sent me. If something gets too long on the calendar on the website, it'll go off the calendar like so. So by adding the breaks in, it puts more of a separator or a space in between each line. Otherwise, Christmas Eve, worship, children share the Christmas story would all be on one line and people wouldn't be able to read the whole thing. They might be able to read Christmas Eve worship and then that would be it. So anyway, that's what the BR is. Other than that, you'll see that I've used it up here. You just kind of have to play with it to know how long a certain sentence will be or statement to know where to put that in. But generally, I say about 12 to 13 characters or so. Okay. I generally, on a longer one, put the break at the end also because your time is going to show up. Otherwise, your time will show up right next to it. And Ash Wednesday is fairly long. So I will, on certain ones, I will add the break on the end of it just so that it knows to shift down. So let's look at your calendar. I went to visit site over here, by the way. Just clicked on it, went to visit site. And I'm going to click calendar. And I'm going to scroll down, and as you can see, this would be one that had the break in it. Now it doesn't show up. You can't see that break is right here afterwards. But then I added the break after Bible study so that the time will always show up underneath it. So that's why that break is at the end of each one of those events. If it's a shorter event, sometimes I don't do that. But and these are the ones that are going to come up every single week. You don't have to do anything to them, possibly. So I'm going to go back into events. Again, I'm going to the dashboard. So see, I went up to Peace Lutheran and I went to dashboard. And now I'm going to go to events and I'm going to hit add new. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to give a name to your event. And some of the things that I don't have on the calendar that I noticed on the calendar that's here, I'm going to slide this over again. And I'm going to put in the worship service that is at 5:30 p.m. in the evenings on Sunday. So I'm just going to put evening worship service and it distinguishes itself from the morning one. All right. So now I'm going to add my first break here, but I'm also going to add a break right here because I know that that's too long. Like I said, there's no hard rule of where you should put it, but I just kind of think how it look aesthetically, and I think having evening by itself and worship service on one line by itself works out better. All right, I'm going to go down here and I'm going to choose the date for it to start. Now obviously it's already been going on, but I'm going to choose the next Sunday so it shows up on the 11th. It'll start showing up on the 11th because we've already passed the first date. And then always, unless it's like, we'll just say you have a week-long event like VBS, the end date will always be the same as your start date. So I'm just going to hit the 11th, okay? One of the things to know, if you look at your calendar and something's not showing up, it's because you didn't put an end date in. The start time is for the evening service is 5:30. I'm going to scroll down to 5:30. Now let's just say that it happens to be 5:45. There is no 5:45 on there to select. You could type that in your own self, okay? But this is at 5:30, so we'll leave it there. You do not need an end time, and you do not need to check this box. Recurrence, it happens weekly. I'm going to hit that weekly, all right? If for some reason you know for a fact, we'll just say pastor is going to be up in Minnesota for the Synod Convention, and you know he's not going to be doing an evening service a certain date, you can go into this button right here and you can pick a Sunday that, we'll just say, we know that the Synod Sunday is I forget if it's this weekend or that week, but I'm just going to click that just for the sake of argument. And then, so on that date, on the 16th of June, this will not show up, okay? I'm not going to do that right now because we want it to show up because I don't know if he's not going to be there or not. The next thing we're going to do is come over to select an image. Now, if you can see here, these are all the images that I have uploaded, and there should be a good variety of things that that happen at your church that you can select one. If you don't see it, and sometimes that happens, you're looking, and where's the evening worship service? It's right here. You can always type in evening. I tried to name them something fairly safe. Now see, we have two. We have evening Bible study and evening worship, and it's going to show up. It doesn't have to be the first word. I could have put in worship, and it's going to come up that there's two different ones. So I am going to select this one, and I'm going to come down to the bottom right-hand corner, and I'm going to select Set Feature Image. And then that's what's going to show up on your front page. And now I believe we've done everything. We're going to hit Publish. Now we're going to do two things. I'm going to look at the front page. I always like to check my work. So I'm going up to where it says Peace Lutheran. This little box opens up and I hit Visit Site. And I go down to where things show up down here, and I'm seeing if it shows up. And there it is right there. Okay. It'll put itself in chronological order based on the date that we chose and the time. So you always need to make sure you put the time in, because different things on Sunday, and this is all on Sunday, you wouldn't want your evening one to show first, and then your Bible study, and then your other worship service. So this way it's all kind of the same way. And we see that Ash Wednesday's coming up, and again, if I had not put the time in, then it wouldn't necessarily show up that they're in the right order. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the calendar to make sure it showed up on the calendar. And we go to February 11th, and sure enough, there it is. And I put that BR at the end of that so that the time will show up down below. And that's just one simple way to add something to your calendar. I'm going to end this video, and I'm going to do another video on a couple more, but I don't like to make them too long.